welcome. So for those of you guys that are joining, that we're going to post this out to in our Love Gymnastics group. So we've got Giarnni and we've got Pete joining us from the Europeans. So just so everyone knows, guys, I'm sure they probably know who you are anyway, but just in case, Giarnni, can you just introduce yourself for everyone for us?
Hey guys, I'm Giarnni Regini-Moran. I'm a men's artistic gymnast, and I've been doing the sport from the age of 3, I think, something like that. So a long time, and we're currently at the European Championships qualification tomorrow. So hopefully it all goes well.
See, good luck. And then Pete, introduce yourself for us, please, bud.
Hi, I'm Pete Etherington. I am the performance director at LoveAdmin Gymnastics Club and personal coach to Giarnni Regini-Moran.
Brilliant, thank you. So obviously it's been a bit different and everything that's going on with COVID and stuff like that. So Pete, building up to this competition, and how's the build up and prep been different to what it might have been leading up to a normal, what we call like a normal event? What's been the main differences and stuff?
So obviously it's been a little bit tough at the moment. As you can see, we've got to wear PPE all the time, so we haven't been able to support Giarnni as much as what we'd like to. It's quite awkward trying to coach in masks all the time. The actual build-up's been quite tough because obviously we weren't allowed to train for some of the time that we've been wanting to get into the gym. So that's hindered Giarnni's performance slightly. And then not being able to go out or to train with other guys as to what we normally would do in maybe a 3-month build-up, we've had to try to fit that into 7 weeks. So we've done the best that we can do. Giarnni's looking quite sharp. He's prepared, so roll on tomorrow.
Sick. Excellent. And then similar sort of thing for you, G. Obviously, with the pandemic and the difficulties of building up, how have you kind of managed to stay motivated and focused through the whole time?
It has been hard. Weekly COVID tests. PCR test, not only PCR tests, but lateral flows, because we've been doing a lot of training at the National Centre as a team, all of us together, and that's like important to make sure that we're all safe. Every single one of us has had to do them tests, lateral flow tests, PCR tests, and there's that worry. There's you're trying to get fit and get to the European champs, and I suppose that is the motivation. That is what keeps you going, because you're like, right, I want to make the team, or I want to get out to the championships. So really, that is the thing that's keeping you going. Because there are days where it's hard, and there's days where you're like, why am I doing this right now? But because we have that end goal and we have that dream, and especially of trying to get to the Olympics as well, that's kind of like the motivation for us.
Sick, definitely, brilliant. Well, then the other thing is kind of for you as well, Pete. So obviously you've been talking about how the difficulties of it has been coaching, but obviously as a coach you have to try and stay motivated, because then that obviously helps Giarnni alongside with his motivation. How have you been staying motivated and trying to keep focused for getting to those goals for moving forward?
So for us, what we're trying to do is just look to see what the main target is. So for us, the Europeans, is just part of the stepping stone into making the Olympic team. So what me and Giarnni settled down to at the beginning of the year was just seeing if we could get stepping stones from one competition to the next competition to make sure that we're in the best possible place for the Olympics. It's been quite tough to motivate people when we've been doing our training camps and we've been going to our national sports centre and everything else. We've had to be in a bubble, which pretty much means that we don't see our family, we don't see our friends, we don't see our loved ones while we're doing that build-up. And the last build-up was 3 weeks. So it means that we've been going away for a whole week, coming back for a weekend, and then lateral flow in and doing every other test as well. So the main target of making that Olympic Games is kind of pushing Giarnni forwards. And we'll find out that after we get back. We've got one more trial and then the team will be announced. So yeah, that's his motivation at the moment in time. Brilliant,
sick. And hopefully everything goes well this current week. For this one's kind of for both of you really, is what does it feel like? How does it feel to be back on sort of like an international competition stage? How does it feel to be competing in those, like this first big event really?
It's amazing. I feel like it's been a year out. We haven't been on a competition floor outside of control comps since 2019 World Championships. So it's been amazing to come around again, go on the podium, also see what all of our friends from other countries are doing and everything else. It's a little bit strange not being able to high-five people or show your appreciation or hug a friend, but everything else is there. The same adrenaline, the same rush comes through every time you walk through onto the podium.
Yeah. G?
Yeah, I agree. You know, with or without fans, the adrenaline, the hype, the pump that you get is still the same regardless. Like the arena, the way it's laid out, it's dark, the lights, you know, they're kind of putting on a show, and it feels like they made the championships. So yeah, like when I'm out there, I did podium yesterday, and I was like, you know, as I walked out, I got that adrenaline. I was third up on the floor, and although it was podium, it felt like a competition. There's, you know, you got athletes, coaches in the crowd that aren't in the subdivision watching, but you know, even without the audience, it's still like just great to be back out here. You know, having so long out with injury and getting back, I kind of missed a lot of being out on the main stage and the world stage, and kind of Worlds 2019, got back out there. That's my first one. I was kind of nervous. I felt the nerves. So hopefully this one can go a little bit better. I've had a good prep. I feel confident, and I'm just ready to go. Awesome.
And then last couple of ones is one for you, Pete. This time is for advice for you that you would give to people that are wanting to be in kind of your shoes moving forward. What would you kind of advice would you give, given, you know, you've had plenty of time, I suppose, to reflect and stuff like that over the past year? What advice would you give to people wanting to kind of aspire to be where you are?
That's a really good question. So in terms of setting some goals, setting some standards, and being enthusiastic. So as long as you're enthusiastic and you're pushing where you need to be going and everything will be great, don't settle for nothing less. Each session should have a goal, a target, and it should be fun. As long as you're doing that, then your gymnast will always stick with you.
Brilliant. Is that why you and Giarnni have had such a long-lasting relationship?
I think so. So me and Giarnni, I've had Giarnni since he was the age of 6 years old, and he's now 22 practically. So we've got a very good relationship. But there are still stages when he's my gymnast, I'm still a higher learner. But moments when I wouldn't change the last 10, 12 years for the world.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thanks. And then G, is any kind of advice that you would give to budding gymnasts, or, you know, young coaches that want to have work with an athlete, or be able to have fortunate enough to work with an athlete that could go to the same levels as what you are?
Yeah, I'd say, I think for gymnasts that are, you know, trying to break through and get to the top end of, you know, elite gymnastics, I'd say it's hard. It's very tough. You're going to face a lot of adversity. But the biggest thing is that you stay committed and disciplined. And I think always having, you know, set goals. What do you want to achieve? When do you want to achieve it by? Like, that's the most important thing in gymnastics, because otherwise you can get caught in the trap of just kind of going into the gym every day, doing the same stuff day in, day out, and not really getting anywhere. You know, so making sure you always sit down and have, you know, the goals that you want to achieve. Maybe it's a new skill, maybe it's a competition, it could be anything. And having a date by when you want to do it by, and then get it done. And then I think for coaches as well, I just think for, you know, coaches, especially coaches coming through, I think it's important that they kind of have a good relationship with their gymnast. I think, obviously, I know I've always kind of listened to Pete, because I know that he knows my body as well, like, and I trust in him. But then at the same time, there'll be times where I have to tell him that actually I'm a bit tired for this today, or, you know, so it's almost like a 50-50 partnership. And I think that comes through more when you kind of get to like the senior stage. But even like, you know, as a youngster, you can get away with doing so many numbers and all this and all that. And I think we've just got on really well because we've had that kind of 50-50 balance. Obviously, I trust in Pete, and I know he wants the best of me. So if he tells me to do something or expects something from me, I will try my best to kind of get that done. but at the same time, like, I will have my say, and I think that's important. Like, especially going through what I've been through with the injuries and stuff, we look at things so differently now. Even like down to, even if you're feeling a little bit tired, is it worth the risk today? Like, are you too tired? Can you get one done? Like, do you need a mat? Just little things like that. So just having that balance between coaching gymnasts and then obviously making sure you have them good goals in place and that you set a date and you go after them.
Awesome. Brilliant. And then the last one, kind of for both of you on this one, is almost like if you were to give it a one-liner sort of thing for now, is what one piece of advice would you give to clubs now that are beginning to open up and, you know, now we're coming out of this, beginning to get back into training? What would be your kind of like one-liner bit of advice?
Be patient and enjoy the journey.
Sick. Love that.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same because, you know, you're just coming out of like a big lockdown, or, you know, your club's just opening up. You can't expect things to skyrocket straight away. Just, you know, take it slow, enjoy the ride, enjoy the journey. Things will, you know, things take time to get good. You can't expect to have things just like that. So hard work and just take it slow.
Brilliant. Amazing. Well, thank you both very much for taking the time out to talk to us. That's been amazing. And from all of us, especially myself, we wish you all the best in qualification tomorrow. And hopefully we'll speak to you soon.
Cheers. Here's a little view. Look, here's the venue. Just about to watch the girls come out, so they're going to come out in a bit. So cheers for all of the good wishes, and I will see you soon.
All right. Cheers. Thanks very much, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.